Alrighty, so doing this a little differently, I'm using my cell phone as opposed to some camera problems that I've been having. And this is no fuss, no muss. I just get it set up and I go. So, it's June 20th. Didn't do one last month. I'm pretty sure this is the last Sunday, and if it's not, well, bonus content, I guess. It is, alright, fantastic. Yay, nice. So, a lot of things have happened in the last 60 days that broke me, basically. Um, Medication is always changing. I'm always changing my medication as per doctor's orders. And basically that happened. And things started to get really dodgy. Friendships, relationships. Basically, if it has ship at the end of it, that's pretty much what was happening, okay? So all the things happen, right? And we're all wondering, you know, well, at least some people were wondering if I'm all right. And in all honesty, I wasn't. I was uh, I was in hell, and I wouldn't acknowledge that. I would just try to maintain, and I would just try to be better about who I am and what I am and where I am. And it never really went well. Because of that, um, lost a friend over it, lost a position on a show I really liked doing, and basically my life spiraled. People I thought that were part of my support structure basically told me that I'm too nuts to be around and that their own mental health journey would be compromised if I were in their life. So, and that took a good kick to the face, in all honesty. Um, so, that being said, I won't be on certain shows anymore. I won't be involved with certain people anymore. And I'll just be moving forward on my own with tons of fun and doing all of that stuff. And it was cathartic, but it was also hurtful. Um, because being slapped in the face with all that, and then that the focus not being the friendship but the working relationship, and it's like I thought we were friends, and that's not the case. And on one hand, I feel like I am no longer useful to a person, therefore I'm not in their life anymore, which is fine. That's just how it goes, and that fucked me up for a good couple of days, and I struggled with what that means and how it means, and just people were tiptoeing around telling me what was going on and not going on and just being as vague as possible as opposed to just being blunt about it, which I would have appreciated in all honesty. Ghosting somebody with mental health problems will only make both situations worse because not only will you be hounded by them, you'll be hounded by everybody, by yourself and just everything else, right? And you're struggling. Maybe I should have done this differently, but whatever. You know, and I get that a lot. So I'm just moving forward. Uh, my medications have finally stabilized me, which was a big battle and a big struggle. So we've got that going on. I've got a couple of other things that I need to take care of this week. Um, Emily and I are getting married. Like finally, like we could say husband and wife or whatever, but like for realsy reals. So I'm really excited about that. Um, I've just come up with better ways to deal with my depression and my anxiety. It's not always perfect, but it works. Yeah, Aaron, that's basically what's going on. Um, there was a problem with my sound and how I'm not professional enough, and how I say things that are off the cuff. So it was asked of me to not be around it, pretty much. So I'm not. That's simple. Um, This isn't like meant to start any problems with anybody. It's just these are the consequences of having severe mental health issues and having problems coping and just moving forward with life. Um, and that was part of it. That was part of it. So in a way, it's good. In a way, it's heartbreaking. Um, I really enjoyed working with all of them up to a point. I still get to hang out with Kirk. He's joined the Tons of Fun crew officially, so Fridays you can see us, him and Han, about whatever. Um, we are going to be doing a Lego focus next 4 weeks for the show, so that's good. Mostly because Brick Rodeo and some of us are going and all that stuff. Also, in a new room, we moved. Half the house needs to be renovated, remodeled, and that's a lot of stress on my shoulders because I'm not that handy. And besides the mental stuff, I've got some physical disabilities that are getting in the way. And a lot of it's my weight, a lot of it's other things, past injuries that are like, hey, you're almost 40 now. Things don't work anymore. So it's frustrating. And and before all that stuff would go on, I would probably be a lot worse than what I am. And move this camera just a little bit and see what happens. But with life as it is right now, all the stuff that I've spouted out about, like mental health and you and learning to move forward, it actually helped a lot. I made things better for myself by removing myself from situations that involved people that were detrimental to me as I was detrimental to them, which is fine. It's just how it goes. I'm not gonna, like I said, this isn't a shit on anybody parade. But it was a big blow. It hurt a lot, and it continued to hurt. And then somebody asked me how I was doing, and I believe I replied with, I've lost more important people than that person is in my life that I've known longer. And I think at that moment it fully clicked that, like, it was bullshit from the start, so why worry about it now? Why act like you're mourning the loss of a friend when you're not mourning anything? You're just hurt because at one point in time that person meant a lot to you. Now they don't. And that's just how it is. And you can do that in one couple of stages. Mine was disbelief, grief, anger, all of them, all the classics. And I broke down a few times. The friendship I thought meant that much to me, and it didn't in the end to him or to me. And that's just the way it is. Wishing him nothing but the best. Move on with your life. Have a good one. I'm going to do the same. And while all those things are going on in my head, before when I'm hit with something devastating or devastating at the time, my brain goes to the easy out. I had a plan about how to hurt myself, how to not be here anymore. And when that happened, that didn't happen this time. And that was a subtle subconscious thing that I noticed, that go-to method wasn't there. The go-to method was go through the cycles of all the emotions that involved that and then just clarify them in your head. And luckily I had somebody to help me do that. Emily was a big step in helping me by just listening to me and offering advice. As was a couple of people that, was close to. I doubt I'll ever talk to any of them again. We'll see what happens, though. But yeah, it sucked. And the thought processes in your head are this and that, and it's just chaos. But like, with everything going on in life right now, I'm not going to trivialize this because I have strong online friendships with people. It was just an online friendship that I wanted to be a real life friendship, and that they never did clearly. So that clicked in my head, and I went, okay, no problem. And I stopped and what did I do wrong? And I went through that and like everything else, and I just realized that I didn't do anything wrong. It's just that simple, you know. Um, and I'm just gonna be okay now. I know it's counterproductive to make a video like this and go into it all, but it's part of the journey, my mental health journey that I've decided to talk about. And sometimes I'll talk about advice and everything else and yada shmata and symptoms and how to beat them. But this is a combination of doing that, of taking all the advice that I've given in the last 6 months and moving forward. Shit was just a speed bump. I've got a soon-to-be wife to think about. I've got a house we've got to get together. I've got a pretty good side business going on with buying and selling enough to pay our rent, our mortgage rather. It's a new word for me again. Pay our mortgage and go to Brick Rodeo and have friends and and that's what I've been doing. I've paused and I've focused on my friendships that I've made in Oklahoma through my Dungeons and Dragons group, and like took that moment to realize, oh, we're all vaccinated and we're all clear of everything else, and like I've actually been doing things. And I found out that my D&D buddy is our game master is a big Lego nerd. Like, I never knew that. I knew he dabbled, but like he's gotten full force back into it, and it makes me extremely happy for him because this is just how it is, right? So he's going to be displaying at Brick Rodeo with us, and it's just going to be a hell of a good time because I'm going to have my brother Julian there, and he's going to be there, and another friend and my brother-in-law is going to be there. I'm more excited about the fact that I get to hang out with my brother-in-law for like a week, away from parents, away from his sister, my wife basically, and he just gets to do him, and that he knows that I'll be there for him. It's awesome. Like, there's so many good things coming up and so many better things coming up. I killed a couple of days by worrying about spilled milk, and I feel really stupid about it now. Well, right? When you get hit with an emotional trauma, you do that. And I guess the joke's on me because it really wasn't. There's no mourning. There's none of that. And it was nice. It was nice to have that. It was nice to be like, hey, life is pretty fucking good right now. My parents are coming to visit. I haven't seen them in 2 years. My dad and I don't really get along all that great. He's conservative. I'm not. And he promised me not to bring up politics. And I was like, that's awesome. I can't wait. Like, that's going to be great. Yeah. And I'm going to take him to a model train shop because he really likes model trains. So, yeah, it's just going to be a good time all around the next few months. And I get to go to Connecticut in October to hang out with Kevin Hinkle. We're working on the Resolve comic together. Emily's coming with us, and we're going to HorrorCon at the Warren's place. Like, it's going to be straight up tits. I'm like, okay, like, I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop now. I'm not waiting for the devastating news that's going to happen or anything like that. I'm flowing and I'm vibing with it all. And I'm fucking A-okay with it. And before it was always worrying about this and worrying about that. And oh my God, all these things and blah, blah, blah. And oh, geez. But like, my mind is really clear and I have goals and I'm shooting for those goals rather than worrying about somebody else or whatever hundreds of miles away. And that's not to shit on anybody that are those things to me. It's just, It's not. It's not a driving force in my life. Anywho, I just thought I'd give an update. Next month, we're going to talk about executive dysfunction again, and we're also going to talk about handling stress in positive ways. I just want to give an update of how I'm doing because I guess I'm selfish and cynical. You can catch us this Friday on Tons of Fun at 8 p.m. Central. We are going to be talking about Lego. I am going to try to get Moto to join us. We're going to see what happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we're going to have a good time regardless. Julie and I are going to talk about our mocks we're bringing. Kirk is going to be catty and talking with us about Lego. Maddie's going to be there, and God knows she loves talking Lego, so more than happy to have it. If you missed last week's episode, I advise you to watch it. We had Flynn from Cookie Bricks on where he talked about films, and he didn't have to talk about Lego for once. And he was happy about that. Yeah, it's just life is good. I'm not going to complain right now. I hope you all have a great week, month, year, whatever. Yeah. Don't wear a mask. Get vaccinated. The microchip feels fine. It doesn't bother anybody that much. Yeah. Trans rights are human rights. I'm out. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Later.